Why does it bloom when it's freezing out? Why did ancient warriors prize the wood more than the fruit? Is it a good choice for your garden? And if it is, we'll tell you where to plant it and what conditions it will need. It's the end of March. It's been a long, hard winter, and spring still seems slow to get here. It's gray in my backyard, and it seems like forsythia is weeks away. So how is it? Why is it that this one plant is showing this golden display while everything else is still sleeping? That's what we're going to talk about today as we do a deep dig into Cornus moss, the Cornelian Cherry Dogwood. One thing you might ask is this really a dogwood? The answer is yes, but it's very different from the American flowering dogwood that is native to our neck of the woods east of the Mississippi. Our flowering dogwood evolved in the understory and openings in the hardwood forests that were the climax vegetation for our part of the world. The Cornus moss, the Cornelian cherry dogwood, is native to the rocky slopes of southern and eastern Europe and into Asia, and is more acclimated to a sunnier spot. The name is a little bit of a riddle for us. Cornus moss. Cornus is the genus name, and it refers to the Latin word for horn because the wood is so dense and hard. Moss, M-A-S, the specific name, refers to a male or sturdy quality. Instead of the showy bracts that we have on the American flowering dogwood, the Cornus moss has an umbel, a cluster of little yellow flowers that emerge from the stems of the plant before the leaves do. This provides a great feeding station for those early emerging pollinators, and sometimes even the honeybees are out. When it's above 50 degrees, they're out foraging. This is a great plant for them. Think of this as an alarm clock for the pollinators in your neighborhood. Seeing those bees hit the blooms on the Cornus moss first thing in the spring is a total game changer. So on this plant, some pushback that I hear is, well, it's kind of a one-trick pony and it grows so slow. It's true that if you're looking for a screen plant that will, screen the neighbor's house in a week, you're not going to choose this plant. But if you do choose the Cornus moss for that spring bloom, you will also get other seasons of interest, which we'll talk about. You're not paying for a quick growing plant, you're paying for integrity. When I talk about integrity, let's talk about the wood. If you throw it in the water, it will sink. This is because of its density. It grows so slowly and the cells are so tightly packed that it has actually been used by ancient Greeks and Romans for weapons. Spears, lances, bows, and arrows. It is an amazingly tough wood. The good thing about it for us is that after a year like we've had this year here in New England, with lots of ice and snow, you will never see Cornus moss breaking under that load. In fact, it's really a nice effect in the wintertime when you see the snow build up on the branches that are more horizontal. So you're not paying for quick growing trees some might consider trash trees. You're buying and you're planting military grade physics in your garden. But there is one more feature to Cornus moss that is a big plus, but it also has a flip side. We're going to tell you about that, but first hit that subscribe button. Now let's talk about the second act and the mess that could ruin your patio. After the yellow flowers disappear and the tree leaves out, then over the summer, it produces these berries that turn an ox blood red in fall. These are edible. They're tart, packed with vitamin C. But if you plant them over your patio, you're going to find that they stain especially bluestone and other natural stone pieces in your patio. It's not going to be good. So don't plant Cornus moss where you will regret it, or your clients will regret it. Give them plenty of space away from patios and walkways, and plant it where you can see it from the patio, not right above it. As Cornus moss ages, it tends to get a little shaggy looking as new sprouts from the root system emerge. One thing you can do is to remove those and make the central stem more of a feature. What we call limming up, a pruning technique where you take the new shoots away from the root system and just let it become more of a tree than a shrub. It has an exfoliating bark with very interesting colors that pop in the wintertime when not much else is going on in the landscape. So it's really a 3 or 4 season plant. This plant is very hardy. From zone 4 all the way through zone 9, it'll survive just about anywhere in any kind of soil. I would avoid wet, boggy soils. They're pretty forgiving, but I would give them well-drained soil. Some great plants as companions for this wonderful tree are Hellebores, crocus. Snowdrops are still blooming when the Cornus moss is beginning its great show. So this will create a wonderful early spring kind of vignette for your garden. The Cornelian cherry isn't just a tree. It is a bridge between the ancient world and our modern landscape. It not only solves the problem of the late winter browns, gives us this wonderful display of yellow flowers that give the early pollinators the battery charge that they need to get going for the season. And don't forget that fruit. It's edible. You can make a great jam out of it, high in vitamin C. It is tart, so you'll have to sweeten it to get the kids to enjoy it, but it is really prime. If you're interested in something else that might be bursting into flower at the end of the winter, check out our segment on witch hazels.